All right, live. What up?
Hey everybody, welcome to the Diagnostic Discussion After Dark Campfire Edition Super Special Extra Guest. I'm kidding. We got a lot going on tonight. How's everybody doing?
Wunderbar.
I'm doing great, Keith. Thank you
Wait,
for
who's-
asking.
All right.
Who's behind me?
Who is that?
What do we got
Whoa.
back there?
It's the
Tiny
Martino.
Chris.
Is
Tiny
he
Chris.
in two places at once? This is unfair. He gets two cameras on him.
Dude, he does. He has
I am that
two
much of a
FaceTimes.
superstar.
Heck yeah.
Poor
What is that
Mrs.
in front of you? Is that some Mickey D's? What is
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
How's it going, Brian?
Hi.
Social distance, Brian. How's it going?
Yeah, don't get too close. You bring that New York funk over here.
You weren't saying that before. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it does look like Mickey D's up on that.
Poor Mrs.
Yep.
Colada.
Yeah. So we got a little bit going on. I think we got some case studies tonight. At least I'm going to be doing some talking anyways. And then don't we have one other one?
Oh, I'm sure we got lots of things.
I actually got one tonight. Brian and I put it together last minute.
We got some
Yeah.
technical things for y'all tonight.
Is that what we were
Technically.
And we got Brandon here. Probably going to get mad at us halfway through and try to take off on his new dirt bike.
Yeah. Yep.
I love you guys.
We're going to pitch in and get him a stool that's tall enough for him to get on it though first. And then we got do we do any announcement tonight, Brian?
Yes, we are. We have our winner of our 10,000th
10,000!
subscriber on our YouTube channel, and
Congrats, gentlemen.
what's his name?
Jahan.
Are we going to say it right now, or are we going to wait? We're going to do it right now.
We'll say it now.
I'll
Let's
wait.
Do it now.
Do you want to do it now?
Do it. You've already got everybody freaking out.
All right.
Do it.
The
Tell
10th
them what they've won, Brian.
Brian, tell them what they've won.
Darren O. Gorman is the winner of our free hoodie.
Oh,
Congratulations, Darren. But I think he has like one Facebook friend, so I don't know if he's real.
Well, this is the thing. I messaged him on YouTube. I messaged him on Facebook. I added him as a friend, so maybe he'll be my friend.
Oh, you're the only friend he has.
No, I'm the pending friend.
Oh, pending.
Yes.
You're on the. Maybe he's one of those guys who's got
Is
like.
Tom
a
the other friend?
I'm
Does Tom?
Does he have a
MySpace
copy?
Tom.
Yeah, so congratulations on being the 10,000th subscriber. It was nice knowing you.
Depending on if I get a hold of him, there may be a different winner. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give him a little
Yeah.
while to.
So are we going the one before or the one after?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think it's got to be after.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to be after. It's got to be 10,001.
Why
Nobody
making up
needs
these-
to know except for the 100 people that are watching with us, hanging out with us tonight.
Why are you making up these rules, Keith? Like you like we have this planned out?
I'm just asking. I've got to ask.
Well, that's
So,
exciting. Congratulations. Hope he's here. You know,
I hope he
if
is
not
here.
here, then
Hope he's
maybe we
hanging
should
out.
give it to somebody else. What are we giving away, anyways? Tell them what they've won, Brian.
Tell
Maybe
them
you
what
did.
they've won.
I wasn't listening.
They've won our new piece of apparel, our hoodie.
Do they get options? Zip up versus non-zip up?
Well, yeah. I guess I could do that. There's zip up any
I'm
size you
negotiating
want.
for somebody that has.
Hey, 6
It's not
feet,
even-
Martino. 6 feet.
Yeah, he's got one on. Look, right. Whoa.
Oh, let's do some modeling. Come on.
Unzip. Oh, nice.
Hey, I want one of them for real.
It's nice.
Nice.
There you go.
Hey.
Hey, are you gonna make Trained by Tech's ski masks?
I can make anything you want. How about that?
Anything, huh?
Anything.
I can make
Nanner hammock.
anything you want.
All
I'd like
right.
to order the Train by Tex banana hammock.
That's right. That's what I said.
What
Brian,
size?
this couch is super cozy.
Nanner
Extra,
hammock.
extra small. Extra
Can you
small.
give me
There's not
some-
much there.
Can you give me more banana though with my hammock?
You want more hammock than banana, is what you're saying, Tom.
No, I need more banana.
Listen, who's all here with us? I don't even see half of it. I think there's more people. Where's everybody else at?
Yeah, where they
Anyways, what else
I
we
just
got
want
to
to
talk
say,
about?
Brent, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to say though that I'm very, very impressed. This whole getting you off of melatonin and into Red Bull thing, this is working. You're moving at a great pace tonight.
You're kidding.
I'm just being annoying. tonight. Let's see here. We have events to talk about, right? We have the PAVE event that we were supposed to come on and talk to you guys about, but I think we failed to do so. But guess what? What's really cool is you could still register for it and watch all of the classes now. That's still happening. You can still do that. It's not quite as cool as doing it in, live, but it's still doable. What about, hey, Brandon, tell us about Motor Age. Is that the same thing? Are they allowing you to register for that still or no?
Yeah, you can sign up for it, and you get 40 classes for one price. I believe it's $99. I can't remember. So don't quote me on that 100%, but it's $99 approximately. You get 40 classes for the next, it's probably 44 days now, 43 days.
Okay. Yeah, it's usually, most of them are doing like about 6 weeks or so, right? Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. I was talking to Carlos today, like obviously in person is way cool, but the cool thing about the virtual thing, I mean, it can be tiring to do virtual sometimes, but you can watch all of the dang classes and you can do it for weeks. And I was telling like shop owners, like, man, they're just kind of burned out on it. I was like, yeah, I understand, but at the same time, this is like 6 weeks worth of like lunch and learns for your staff, man. I think it's a no-brainer for sure.
That's phenomenal.
Hey, would you mind letting Rich in?
I already did. He's here.
Oh,
I would also like to say back on the PAVE, I mean, I know at least one of those classes was really awesome, and if you watch that one special class, you do get a special appearance by the one and only Brent Klein. Just saying.
Was I there?
PAVE.
Oh, I was, but was it my camera on?
No, but your luscious voice was
special
on.
Voice appearance. No, I enjoyed coming on. Me and Brandon had a good time together. Real good for a good time call. Brandon. No, that was fun. That was Saturday, wasn't it? A Saturday morning?
Yeah, and that's different. Teaching on a Saturday online is very different. But getting up early too. Wow, what was that? I can't remember. That was early.
It was they were running at Pacific time, so we got up. It was later than I think it was 7 a.m. Pacific time, wasn't it? Which was like 10 a.m. our time. But by the time you get everything fired up and ready to go, it was weird. It was strange. It was an all-day thing, man, like 9 to like 4.
Yeah, I enjoyed that though, and that little experiment you did, that hands-on, that topped it off. I really did.
I do think with you gave me like, we both knew that we should be doing it, but then I think we went on and we were talking with Adam Robertson, and we all agreed like this is just too much for this this platform we were using, GoToMeeting. Yeah. It's a little hard, and I think the managers were like pushing for a little more demonstration, which is fully understandable. It kind of helps with the virtual thing, make it a little more exciting and interactive. And I think last minute we decided we should probably do this. So that thing was filmed literally like 12 hours before that thing, but it wouldn't go out. I think it was pretty good. But we have other ones that are coming. We have ASA National. So the paid thing was cool. What made it cool was, all these different associations working together, and which is like the first time ever to put on an event, and I think it went pretty well. There was like almost 500 attendees for a virtual event, first time too, which was really cool. But ASA National and all the ASA affiliates are doing one called X50. That's April. I can never remember how many days are in the month. It's the last day of April, first day of March, whatever that is. I think April 30th, March 1st, or May. I'm sorry, May. Go ahead, Brandon. What's up?
Sorry, I just wanted to reference SPX.
Yeah.
March 27.
That's March 2022.
Excuse me. Yeah. 2022. Excuse me.
And there is something else coming. I want to say, there is. I might pronounce this wrong, so let me see if I can get this right. L1 Automotive tranny.
Yeah, that's
tranny is the word.
Right.
Training.
That's it. That's
okay.
Right.
You guys are rebuilding trannies.
L1 Trannies is doing a full day hands-on tranny class.
Hands-on. That's gonna try to keep your hands clean on that one.
There you go.
It's a hands-on tranny class for $150. That's pretty cheap. I mean, Keith, you want to talk about it?
And your head tranny right here.
That's right. Yeah. No, so we're doing one here in Oklahoma. So that's $150, covers the one Saturday hands-on class. The
It's
book,
150 Oklahoma money, like
Oklahoma money.
450 California money.
That's right. Yeah, 770 California money. I've done the math. 150 covers one person, includes the class, the book, and breakfast and lunch, which will be
Dude,
on
that is
site.
770 California money.
That's
Dang.
right. Yeah.
What kind of breakfast?
So we've got 20 seats available. Actually, we only have 9 seats available right now because we sold 11 today.
Wow.
So
Tommy had a great
basically,
question.
I should have tripled the price, is what I'm getting here.
Yeah, I basically was giving you a hard time because I don't think 150 is enough money.
No, but initially this was for my local guys, and I can't get them to come to CTI classes for free. So, obviously the math is you put a price on it, and then immediately it's a better class than the one that you offered to them for free.
Yeah. No, that.
So, so L1training.com, there's an events tab on the website, and you just click on it. You can pay there. You pay, you'll get a receipt, and then Liz will call you the next business day and get the info from you that she needs and send you a flyer with all the other information. But you're going to have to get lodging and get down here and all that stuff. So it's a Saturday. Yeah.
So Adrian asked in the chat what happened to the calendar on the website.
Yeah.
We did have a meeting last week or earlier this week to actually do that, and then stuff got in the way. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I'll get that back up. I need to do that.
Well, Brian was expecting company for like 3 days.
That was
And he
totally
had-
my fault.
And they had company. Oh, Vision. I'd like to congratulate Carlos Mercado for winning the Vision scholarship this year.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Wow, really?
Hey.
Stoked
Really?
about that.
That's
Well, it
awesome.
was. Let me
Yay,
hold on
Mocha.
now. Hold on. It's Gary Keys. Mary Steele set up a scholarship for Gary Keys called Keys to a Brighter Future or something. I can't remember exactly, but so we're gonna kind of keep that going and try to do scholarships through ASA Florida. And Gary, I didn't put Carlos' name. I thought it was, I don't know. I thought it was wouldn't be very cool for me to do, but Gary decided he wanted to give it to Carlos, so I thought that was awesome. Congratulations, Carlos.
That's good because you know how those shop owners are.
Yeah, tight on that wallet. I was excited. Now I can afford to buy some barbecue so we can pretend we're really there.
You're not gonna find no barbecue in Florida, that's for sure.
Oh, stop it. I'll make it.
Well, that's in Florida. That's the meth flavored barbecue. I believe that's what that is.
Oh Lord.
That's Tulsa, man.
Yeah, that is Tulsa. I believe at one point in time we were, in fact, the meth capital of the world.
I think Ohio
Not
has
to
that
brag,
now.
I'm just saying.
Ohio's got it now. I think so.
Probably.
Are you guys fighting over who's got more meth? Is that what's going on right now?
So,
Hey, we
yeah.
hold that proudly here. We've got nothing else.
And Mike is over here. They're talking about over in Detroit. Like he's laughing, like you guys don't have no idea what you're talking about.
Detroit is crack central, man.
You can't even drink the water there. So.
Water's worse than the drugs.
Oleski says bath salt barbecue.
That's Flint.
Mike,
I'd
you're
like
real
to,
close to Flint. I seen it.
Man, it's good to have friends. I'd like to quickly thank you all, for helping with some mind, I don't know, ass kickers, but also Nolan and PJ and Tim for letting me bounce some stuff off of you. Crazy
I've been bouncing stuff off PJ quite a bit
Buick
lately.
Highlander that I had.
And not just Brown's insults.
Well, that's intertwined between my questions.
I bounce stuff off Tommy all the time.
Yeah, Tommy
no,
too.
Oh,
They called Tommy this week.
Bounce what exactly?
yeah.
like is that like what type of joke is that? Like it could be
How's your chin, Tommy? How's your chin?
good.
Should we actually get down to doing what we were doing?
Yeah,
I think we should.
Eventually.
So who's going first? We have some case studies, right?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right, let's do it then.
Do it.
Do it. It's a quick one, easy one, and a lot of you guys are going to know that, but it's all about highlighting the process. So.
Easy says who?
Host disabled participant screen share.
Aha!
Brian, gosh, every time.
I didn't do it.
Brian.
It's automatic.
Oh.
All right, all you.
All right, let's try this again. Screen 2. We can see it. Aha. Uh-huh.
Yep.
All right.
Aha.
Aha.
Limp.
All right, so this starts out weird because it's actually I just took the slides out of one of my classes. So really,
I think you should have you should have removed that limp considering the company we're keeping today. You should have removed that.
Ooh. So we'll start
Look
with
at
this
me.
one. This part, it's a PC and fuel strategies class. So in that part in the class, we're going into reduced power and limp modes, talking about strategies for that. So this is an example case study of a 2011 Dodge Durango with a hammer. Got the big 5.7 in it.
Hey, Keith.
Yes, sir.
That thing got a Hemi?
Got a hammer. I love it.
Needs one.
So the customer concern is a lack of power, as it's stated, at highway speeds and sometimes during acceleration. They dropped off the vehicle at a transmission shop. The shop determined there was nothing wrong with the transmission, and they called us. This is a very good customer of ours, this transmission shop, and they, when they call us about this kind of stuff, we usually take it seriously when they're like, okay, it really isn't a transmission concern. These guys are really good at what they do. So for a little background of that.
Did they come to your tranny class?
Are they coming?
Three of their technicians are coming to that class, actually.
It's a great tranny class.
It is a great training class. Sorry. So, what is our process? We
You guys are
just
totally
like,
unprofessional.
yeah, just like every one of our diagnoses or any analyzation we're going to be doing on a vehicle, we want to follow some kind of process.
Giggity.
Plan the work the plan, stick with it, no matter what it is, no matter how easy or rudimentary it sounds. That's how you get on rabbit holes. So we want to confirm the concern, gather initial data. When we gather initial data, I usually consider that as we're going to get codes, and we're also going to just take a quick look at any data that we would want to see right off the bat, maybe key on engine off, cold start, depending upon the condition what we're at. We want to see what it's like before we go drive it. And then from that information, we're going to build a test plan. That includes looking at TSBs, any other service information, PIs, SIs, whatever you can come up with, making sure you understand how the system operates. And then at that point,
You're going to work that test plan. You're
work
gonna
it. Just
I like
work
when
it.
you get bossy.
That's right. We want to take all the information that we gathered and articulate it into a diagnosis. Because a diagnosis is just what we think is wrong based on all of our analysis, right? So, and then depending upon the situation, you'd want to investigate the root cause of failure. So this is my process. This is not the best process. This is not.
What do you mean?
This is mine. So just take that with a
Technically,
grain of salt.
this says this is our process. Just saying, I am reading it here.
Right, it is our process. Some may have things to add, things to move around, things to not worry about. All depends. But for the most part, this is my process that I follow for just about anything. This
Can you go
lack
get a
of
beer
power
for?
and a circuit fault. Same plan. So, first part's confirm the lack of power. We did do a test drive. It did, in fact, present a lack of acceleration. To me, I noticed that it wasn't really as much like a... We've all driven a car with low power, right? Like a air filter with a paper plastic bag in it or something. It wasn't so much like that. It was more of what I thought would be something like a limp mode, with a reduced power mode. That's why it fits perfectly into this part of the class. So then we want to pull a complete vehicle scan. No matter how important it is, it's important. The most important part is keeping it on record. So let's say the car comes back later and they go, well, I didn't have this problem before. And you're like, well, before we touched the vehicle, it did in fact have that circuit code or that whatever. So that's a big piece of it to cover your assets as well as having the entire picture. So that's something to keep in mind. So we pulled the codes, and our obvious thing for a lack of power for most people would be, let's take a look at this P0420 because if we got a catalyst efficiency code, we may very easily have a clogged cat. I mean, that's my first thought, right? Lack of power, cat codes.
I know what it is.
Yep. That's, like I said, this is not like a... I don't like using case studies that are just the craziest, weirdest thing you've ever seen all the time. I like to kind of... This is highlighting the process. This isn't like the time that I found something ridiculous. This is something a lot of people have ran into. I'm sure in the chat they're going to be blaring the answer. Guys, please hold on for a minute. Don't spoil it for everybody. So for me, an easy, quick thing for me to do to determine if this cat is clogged is to look at O2 data. So I wanted to look at front and rear O2 voltages. I'm more familiar with looking at them as 0 to 1 voltage range rather than looking at them at the 2.5 to 3.5 ground bias that Chrysler likes to use. Although that method of creating a voltage off of ground is helpful in diagnosing a open circuit versus a short to ground circuit or any other kind of concern. For me, it's more natural to look at it this way, or use maybe generic data is what you could do. And I'm using just an aftermarket scan tool here, nothing crazy. I know everyone immediately assumes I'm going to use the most expensive OE scan tool, but to highlight this process, I thought I'd use an aftermarket one. So we're looking at this. So what I did was this test. Now what we're doing here is a wide open throttle pull at this point, and then right after that is the decel point. So what guys want to answer why we can tell what the issue is from here, or what the issue is not from here?
Not fuel.
Ooh, Brian's got it. And Brandon?
You know, I was just going to elaborate on that, break it down. I see that the O2 sensor stays high, and we know if we don't get the fuel there, there's no way you could go way high, right?
Right.
So that kind
Not
of...
only that, we tend to see what in O2 streams when we have a restricted exhaust, what we usually see. A slightly trending lack of oxygen, so a higher voltage reading on an oxygen sensor. So this pulling all the way down to 0, going full lean, means that there was exhaust pressure built up in the system, and then during decel, when fuel cut happened, that air went past both O2 sensors, front and rear. So that reference air or lack of fuel that happened went past both. So I highly doubt that there's a restriction in this Bank 1 or Bank 2 exhaust system. I usually see them hanging a little richer. They usually don't go to 0 for me. I don't know. Have you guys seen anything different? I don't like using never and always, but for me, this is usually a pretty good indication that this flows well.
Yeah.
I'm with...
Especially when the behavior is the same bank to bank. What's the chances of you having 2 clogged cats? Unlikely.
Right. On something that idles fine, doesn't have any misfires, no misfire codes. So we got pieces of evidence there. We have the no misfire codes. We do have a P0420 that can make you suspect that, but this was a quick and easy, just using data. Because remember, we haven't popped the hood yet. We're sitting in the driver's seat. We can almost do this right on our initial gathering data step, right?
I love this. This is great.
Right. Again, this isn't like a lot of you guys saw the codes and immediately knew what the answer was, right? That's okay. So where do we go next? If P0420 probably isn't our issue, what do we look at now? Do we think about an intake restriction so we can test with VE? Do we look at map vacuum and see if we have low engine vacuum, maybe to indicate another kind of mechanical concern? Do we worry about fuel pressure? Well, we can mark the fuel pressure off the list because, well, we saw a richer mixture than what we would normally see, or we saw a lack of oxygen in the exhaust. Looking at O2 data, the engine seems to run fine. None of these things are something that I would go down anyways. It didn't seem that would be the concern. What about our other codes? And I'm sure, I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm positive there's like half the people have already know what the answer is here. So what I would look at is the rest of these codes, and what stuck out for me was the engine oil pressure control stuck off. And the technician that I was talking with at this shop, I kind of was trying to use this as a training opportunity, and I kind of asked if, because I've seen this before. I've been mopped across the floor by this code, and a very similar concern. So this engine oil pressure control stuck off. This is some service information for it, the set criteria, the set conditions, and then the default actions are where the magic happens. We see that the check engine light's illuminated, and the vehicle will not exceed 3,300 RPM when this code is active.
Uh-oh.
Can I add something real quick?
Yes.
I don't know how many people realize the importance of information like this, how much time it saves you, and actually helps develop your diagnostic direction.
Right.
The importance of actually reading and comprehending that information.
Yes. That was the entire point of this. The point of this case study was not like, look how smart I am, I knew this. That's not the point. There's tons of guys in here that are smarter than I am, and tons of guys out there in the field that are way smarter than I am. This was about highlighting the process and continuing with the process regardless of knowing or not. Because The reason why this became an important case study for this particular car is this customer decided to keep this Durango that has 187,000 miles, took it to the transmission shop because she had been having this issue that a neighbor had told her was a transmission concern, and she actually said, I'm okay with spending $400 to $500 to diagnose all the problems with it. I'm having Bluetooth problems. I'm having some AC control problems randomly. The stuff doesn't work. So we took this as an opportunity to look and go, okay, hold on. We need to figure out what the lack of drivability is first. That's going to cause an issue. When I saw the codes, I knew what the concern was. And not to be the silver bullet guy or statistic guy, we didn't do much more testing past this. But we did determine it was a failed oil pump that was going to need to be replaced. Just because of the nature of what happens in such a common failure. At that point, we didn't spend the rest of this customer's money to diagnose all these other concerns. So we're looking at a catalytic converter that doesn't operate correctly because the oxygen storage capacity was low. And then we're looking at something that potentially needs an oil pump, most likely. At that point, we kind of let the transmission shop reconvene with the customer and determine what is the best approach to fixing this vehicle. Do we want to continue to fix this vehicle, or should she maybe reconsider the trading it in thing? And that's not what this debate's about at all, but it's the importance of understanding the system, following the process. We may have went on diagnosing many, many other concerns before finding out that the car needed $5,000 worth of work. So that's all I got for you. That's it.
Awesome.
Next page has to do with
stuff.
other stuff. Yeah.
This is really good.
So, just a basic, this is not a life-changing, case study at all, but it's one that just highlights the process, follow the process, and things, as much as you may not believe could have to do with what you're dealing with, it's important to understand each and everything that happens. This was a default strategy by the PCM.
Yeah, they could write that strategy any way they want. Hey, you did change lives. If they put a cat in that car and it needed an engine, her life would certainly be different.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the importance of not just reading the code. The transmission shop knew right ahead, hey, we have a cat code, but let's go ahead and call them out and make sure it's not something else, because they've been there. They knew the importance of understanding what the problem is with some level of certainty.
Now that I think about it, I think Carlos just had one on like a Chrysler Town and Country or something not long ago. It had probably the same code.
Light's been on forever. It probably has had a bad catalytic converter for a very long time due to a misfire in its history or something. And so the customer said, well, this light's been on forever, and it just started doing this. Maybe the P06DD just recently showed up.
Yep.
We could look at freeze frame data. We could find that out. We could put all those pieces of the puzzle together to really come up with a storyline of what happened. But the importance of this situation was following your process, reading service info. I knew what that said, but not everyone's ran into this yet.
Just thinking of it all, like you said, knowing that the check engine light has been on. I mean, sometimes we don't have direct communication with the clients or whatever, as technicians in the back. So hopefully you have a good relationship with your service advisor or the point of contact with clients, and keep reminding them that you need as much information as you can get. But hopefully you're getting it. If you are getting it, just thinking about that stuff. The light's been on a long time, so yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Pete.
Awesome stuff. Awesome sauce.
Just want to say that we just got a special guest who just popped up in our chat, Mr. Jim Morton himself.
Oh, nice.
He
Hey,
made
old
the
man,
comment,
how you doing?
always go for the root cause, not the effect of the root cause.
He's ingrained that into my mind for 10 plus years.
Well, you
I
better
really
tell
thought that, Jim Morton's account was the bald mechanic hard of hearing. I really thought that was him. Like, it's 5 comments above his. I was like, what? I love you, Jim. I'm sorry. I love you. I read that and I was like, wow.
Well, you better tell Jim to leave the chat before my horror show of a case study comes on.
Oh, I like that one. Is that the one we talked about, Chris, earlier today? Oh,
yeah,
good.
we put it together.
Let's do it.
Hey, Keith, Gerald's asking, is there a TSB for the oil filter for that code? I'm not familiar with it.
I'm sure there's a slew of TSBs with this one. We didn't go much further once we determined the cat and potentially oil faults and started talking about going to the next step on diagnosis. We decided to hold up there because this customer thought we were going to be able to fix the Wi-Fi and tell her it needs spark plugs. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
I think Jim's going to see now too.
Uh-uh. That is the one thing he's not. I can tell you that.
He said I look the youngest, so
That's because you're far away.
his brain is fine. Yeah, this is OBS studio tricks.
I make sure you guys got to the root cause of the problem.
Wait, I can get even younger. I'll get smaller. Change my background there.
You're colder.
That's what she said.
We can see who got the first round of CTI goodies there.
Shh, don't say anything. I got all kinds of toys.
All right, Chris.
So,
you're up.
so you want to do this next one?
Yeah, you're up, man.
So
Do it.
you got to help me. So I want to say that mine isn't as
Wait, you're
polished.
gonna work it.
Oh yeah. I want to say mine isn't nearly as polished as Keith's is because Brian and I literally put this together an hour ago.
Yeah.
So let me get this done. So let's do a screen share screen, and I want to do this guy, share, and if I do this,
That's pretty sexy.
right?
Why don't you go to presenter view, the
Yep.
one in the lower
I'm
right?
doing
Give him a minute.
Okay.
Hurry up, Chris.
He's old.
I'm trying to do that. Hold on a second. New share. Why is it not doing it? I don't know.
Did you go to is it in presenter mode?
I'm trying to. Hold on.
Slideshow.
There we go. F5. There we go. Are we better now?
Finally.
There.
I guess so. There's still an Audi on the screen.
Well, it's not my fault. I guess I'm good at working at these things. All right, so this one is, believe it or not, I actually got my hands dirty on this one, kind of. This is a 2013 Audi A4. The customer called me out. They had a code for fuel pressure too high, which is a weird code. Generally, you'll get a fuel pressure too low code. A fuel pressure too high code is really hard to come by on these. So let me see here. Okay, cool. All right, so the customer did all the normal things that you do with these. They put a high pressure fuel pump in it because fuel pressure and direct injection.
It's
This is a
maintenance.
direct, yeah, of course. This is a direct injected vehicle, so of course it needs a fuel pump. And when that one didn't work, we put a factory one in. And then when that one didn't work, they went and put in a fuel pressure sensor. And when that one didn't work, they put in a factory fuel pressure sensor. And then we decided to figure out what was wrong with the vehicle.
No coils.
Well, it wasn't misfiring, but we could swap coils around if you want.
Okay.
I'm looking at you over there trying to do this thing. This is ridiculous.
I'll stare at you.
This is much better. All right. So, I found this really weird that we had.
We put ferns on either side of you guys.
Well, I'm sinking down. Check this out. Hold on, look. I just sink down into this couch. I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat right now.
I got a squishy couch. I'm sorry.
Does TBT have enough money in the bank to give Brian a new couch?
No, it's super
It
comfortable.
looks like the casting couch.
That's what I was just gonna say.
So, where was I? All right, so all the parts are thrown at this car. We still have a fuel pressure too high code. All right, so we'll take a look at the faults here. All right, so we got a fuel rail system pressure too high. It's a static fault. We have a cold start fuel pressure performance that's sporadic. Another sporadic fuel pressure too high code. A fuel level too low code. Somebody ran this tank dry, et cetera, et cetera. This car does not like something with the fuel. All right, so let's go with this. Can I draw? Yes, I can draw. All right, cool. So this is the code right here that I'm worried about the most. The fuel pressure too high code. That's basically saying the fuel pressure is too high. It's really that simple. But so the customer went and without really looking at anything, they saw that the pump must be okay because we put 6 of them in there. The fuel pressure sensor, that must be okay because there's like 80 of them in there. What else is in this fuel pressure system?
Yeah. What can cause pressure to be too high? That's odd.
So high as in higher than desired, right? We want this much. And
Exactly. So basically, actual versus desired is too high. That's basically what's going on. I'm not even worrying about numbers right now. It's too high. We know it can't be an intake fuel pump because that would cause a low pressure problem. All right.
Can you explain that?
So hold on. Keith is saying buy a Toyota.
done.
Yes. So
Gotta
yes.
rev up your engine first, though.
So we're looking at this thing, right? So generally, when I see these cars, it's very rare to see a too high code. Generally, you see a fuel pressure too low code, and it's something like a intake fuel pump or a bad fuel pump, a bad high pressure fuel pump because you bought it from World Pack and the fuel pressure regulator is no good. Happens all the time.
Easy there.
So let me say that again. When you buy a high pressure fuel pump from World Pack for this car, the fuel pump itself is fine, but the fuel pressure regulating valve that actually regulates the fuel pressure is not calibrated correctly for some reason. Don't know why. It just can't do its job. And you'll end up getting low fuel pressure codes. You'll correctly diagnose the car, but you'll induce another problem and chase it around. Or even worse, for most of these, you'll incorrectly diagnose it because everybody, when they see a low fuel pressure code, they'll go right to that engine mounted high pressure fuel pump because it's a GDI and it's right there and it's easy, and they'll forget you need a low pressure pump to feed that pressure up to the high side. Makes sense. Moving on. So I wanted to see the fuel pressure pit. We're running 40 kPa. That's about 40 bar. You're looking around, between 30 and 50 bar at idle is a good spec.
Now, what's that in American?
An American? I don't know. Stuff. I honestly don't care. We could do the math. Brian, you want to do the math for me?
I'm doing it right now. We got 580 PSI.
So this is 580 PSI.
That's enough pissies, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of PSIs. So generally, rule of thumb on these things, and if you look at service information, between 30 and 50 bar at idle is fine. We're idling good. It's fine. All right. So we're dealing with a sporadic problem, with a sporadic high fuel pressure problem. Now, let's take a look at this. This high pressure fuel pump. Do I still have my thing in? Yes, I do. This high pressure fuel pump is mounted to the exhaust camshaft. All right. This guy's the exhaust camshaft. This other guy here is the intake camshaft. All right. And right over here, you can see that it says intake camshaft with the adjuster on it. This piece right here on the fuel pump, because that's high pressure fuel pump, that is the regulating valve. It's a 2-wire solenoid. Its only job is to either let fuel pressure out or hold fuel pressure in. It's all depending if you have a normally open or normally closed fuel pump. Volkswagen uses them both interchangeably, which is extremely frustrating. All right. Generally, when these fail or something else fails, you'll get a low fuel pressure code. So I have a weird suspicion that this is a normally closed fuel pump. So normally closed meaning when there is no activation of this solenoid, fuel pressure goes up. All right. A normally open is just the opposite. When there's no activation of the solenoid, fuel pressure drops. You just kind of need to know that.
Question.
All right. Go, Brian. Go.
Just a question. Playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Maybe there's people that just are not familiar with GDI. I think it would be tremendously beneficial if you could quickly elaborate how a pump functions. Or am I going to cut? That's just a suggestion.
No, let's talk about that for a little bit. All right. So, how many people remember how an old school cam lobe driven fuel pump from a carbureted engine works? Thing bolts off the side of the engine, runs off a lobe on the camshaft, or something like that, and it pumps a valve.
Pumps
and fuel
the fuel
pressure
into the oil.
Yeah, it pumps the fuel into the oil, and that's how it works. That is literally how this works. It's really no change. There is a little piston, all right, that has a little roller on it that rides on these lobes on the camshaft. All right, when the camshaft spins, it pushes this piston in, and there's a spring in it that lets it push out when the lobes go. And that pumping action, Brian, make sure you capture this. That pumping action makes fuel pressure. There's really no difference. It's old technology recycled.
If that solenoid is open, then
so I'm only talking about the fuel pump right now. So that is how the fuel pump makes pressure. Now, how the fuel pump regulates pressure is this guy right here, the fuel pressure control solenoid. All right. So its only job is to either hold fuel pressure in or let fuel pressure out, depending on the style of pump. Okay. Again, what I was saying before, a normally open style pump means when that fuel pressure regulating valve is not energized, the fuel pressure will come in and then leak right out. It will not make fuel pressure. So it energizes to hold the fuel pressure in for the specified amount for whatever the computer wants, and it'll open when it wants to bleed the pressure out. A normally closed pump is exactly opposite. This fuel pump holds pressure in. This fuel pump holds pressure in until this valve activates and bleeds some of that pressure off to reach that specified pressure that the computer wants. Now, that all being said, GDI, in essence, is basically like a gasoline type diesel engine. I mean, I know it's not, but it's basically the principle is exactly the same. And for those of you who have a base knowledge of anything in diesel, and I don't diesel, but I do remember this. If you want to change your fuel pressure, or your fuel pressure is too high or too low, what do? Class?
You adjust the timing.
You adjust the timing of the fuel pump, correct?
Yep.
That's how you change it. Well, this particular vehicle, the timing is static because this particular camshaft right here does not adjust. Does that make sense, guys?
Doesn't adjust? Challenge accepted.
It's not supposed to.
All right, I didn't ruin yours. You go to mine. So that is why this fuel pump rides on the exhaust camshaft, because that camshaft is always going to be in time, in theory. Now remember, cars are stupid. I mean, as advanced as they can get, they have to rely on some things that they have to know is true. And this car has to know that this timing is on. It's assuming at all times that this timing chain is perfect. All right. So if this timing is perfect, it knows when to regulate the fuel pressure to maintain the fuel pressure regulating valve to maintain proper fuel pressure. Did I lose anybody?
No. So just to recap, what you're stating is if we have a timing fault, we could lose control of fuel commanded versus actual pressure.
Exactly. So let's move on. So this is from a 2-liter engine class I did back in the day. And it basically shows how the computer controls the fuel pump itself. All right, the fuel pressure itself. This is a normally open style system. In blue is the actual fuel pressure from reading from the fuel pressure sensor. In yellow is the control to the computer for that fuel pressure control solenoid. Now, again, this is a normally open style pump. And as you can see, as the pump is being turned on and commanded, fuel pressure drops. That's, if you look at it and you go in there and spend too much time and go blind looking at this, you'll find that. But that relationship is very important. All right. There is no position sensor. There is no position sensor on this fuel pump. There is only the fuel pressure regulating valve. There also is no position sensor on this exhaust camshaft. The only position sensor is on the intake camshaft, which is adjustable. So the car can't really rely on this for knowing where the exhaust camshaft is. It can only know that we call for a certain amount of adjustment, and we're going to assume the exhaust is along for the ride. Does that make sense? Because again, cars are stupid. Engine control modules are stupid. They only know what they are told. So let's go on. So I wanted to know what kind of fuel pump I had. So what I did is I graphed the fuel pressure PID. All right. And where did my thing? There it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, cool. So what I have right here is the vehicle idling. And we're idling around that 40 bar, which is that PID that we showed before. What I did right here was I unplugged that fuel pressure control valve. For those of us in the class, what does this mean?
That it's functioning, whether it's normally closed.
It's normally closed and it functions.
Yeah, so we are able to make fuel pressure.
We assume it's normally closed. We would need to know duty cycle.
Well, no, this is 100% a normally closed fuel pump. Right now, the fuel pressure jumped up to 204 bar. This thing is screaming. That's what
Basically,
5,000
yeah. When
PSI?
you take electric away, it's trapping all of the fuel in the chamber during
Yep.
that whole loop.
Exactly. So the pump is internally bypassing. It's trying not to blow up. It's not meant to go this high. So I know for a fact that this is a normally closed fuel pump. In which case, a timing fault or something wrong with that either the timing fault or the regulator itself would cause a high fuel pressure code. All right. When I knew that the fuel pressure was regulating because again the car was running down here and was running at normal pressure, meaning the computer's good and the regulator valve is doing its job. All right. So we know that it's working.
And that pump is very healthy.
Yeah, the pump is very healthy. It's capable of making pressure. It's capable of regulating lower pressure. We're going to have to assume.
Yeah, by simply unplugging a pump, you can determine that the low side is good, the high side pressure is working really good.
All that
fuel rail pressure sensor. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, so we just did a basic test. We know that stuff is happening. We're not going to throw any more parts at it at this time. So we know to make fuel pressure, we have to have low side fuel pressure to be able to make high side fuel pressure. The fact that we're making all of this pressure means my low side is good. I'm not worried about it. All right. Then we move up to the high pressure fuel pump. We know that's working. Crossing that off the list. The fuel pressure sending unit or the fuel pressure sender is working as well because this is making sense. When this is screaming at 200 bar, you can hear the engine screaming. I'm going to assume it's fine. I don't have a gauge big enough to test that. I don't think most people do either, but we're going to assume it's fine. That's okay to assume that. So we're running out of things quickly that could cause this to be bad. So that's
Hold on a second there.
Go on.
I just want to give you the next question here, though, because Chavez is asking the question in the chat.
Yeah.
Could we check the measuring value block 93 to check for timing, guys?
Yes, we could, but let's get there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, we could.
I just wanted to give you the preface of his question before you moved on.
That's a great point. Yes, we could always check that. I'm gonna disagree with most Volkswagen people. I hate using those measure value blocks. I don't trust them. Honestly, I don't. I trust the scope. I trust looking at it with my eyes. So yes, it may well be. I don't trust it, and I never will. It's a good idea to check it, but I don't.
Did you hear that, Rich?
So,
Did you guys hear the sound of my eyes rolling?
Hey, Rich, just wait. This gets fun later. This kind of blew around in my mind.
I like this one.
So we're quickly running out of we're running out of things on our list that this could be, and I'm quickly rolling into okay, maybe the timing is slightly off, but if the timing is off, I should have a timing code. Should I not?
Yes.
There you go. The answer is yes, guys. Thank you for playing along.
Yep.
All right. So I got a known. I ran a cam crank correlation for this car, and what's great about Volkswagen and Audi is they make them pretty easy to really eyeball it to tell if your timing is on. Now let me go. There we go. Generally, we like to look at for Volkswagen Audi the relationship right here. All right. We like to look at this little center hump. This little guy likes to be lined up with this little guy. Does that make sense, guys?
Looks like it's close.
Yeah, and this is general for most Volkswagen Audis. They like to have their stuff line up. Now, like
Good
a
enough
GM,
for the girls that I run with.
exactly. It's
And you
it's
can
not.
find that stuff, right? Facebook.
So this one is this one I don't know if this is a hands capture or if this is a Pico capture or a Facebook mark. I forget exactly where I got this one, but it's readily available. And what's really great is a lot of these engines are all the same. Another thing that's really great is Volkswagen is super anal about making them line up to something and really easy to eyeball it from a distance. And I look at this right away. I'm like, all right, that looks good. Your timing's not jumped. But I'm running out of things to check. So before I make any conclusions, I want to see a known good. All right. Before I did that, I zoomed in and you can see we're close enough. Right. It's pretty freaking close. It's not enough to turn on the light. So I want to get a known good. This is a known good. All right. And again, we can see this relationship right here.
Raggy.
All right. You can still see it's pretty close, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, cool. So it's still pretty close, but it's slightly off. But let's go see how close it is. We'll zoom in again. And again, what you can see is, again, Volkswagen's pretty good about making this relationship be almost perfect. And they hold this for pretty much all of the engines. The earlier style engine that uses a different style crank sensor, it all basically lines up to the same thing. It's all about right there.
Okay, so it's off a little bit, but how much is a little bit?
Well, let's go take a look. So the most common code for a timing code is this P0016, a cam crank correlation, right? If the timing is off, it's going to set a code. Makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's really great about, code setting criteria is you can go look at it. And the code setting criteria is greater or less than 11 degrees of crankshaft rotation.
11.01.
11.01, I'm sorry. So if it's 11.00, it will not set a code.
That's probably why you don't have a check engine light on.
Well, so I'm like, okay, well,
Now
let's
there's
go take a look.
tape over it.
The bulb's burned out.
No, there is no. We checked. Remember, we checked the codes before.
Oh, yeah.
We checked the codes before. There is no timing code in this. So now I want to look a little bit closer because I can't tell this guy to pull a timing chain off.
You're in
if that's
Ohio
not the
right
problem.
now, right, Chris?
I'm in Ohio.
Right
I'm
behind
next
me.
You're in
door.
Ohio right
Yeah.
now. You're
Yeah.
right behind Brian. Is this? Did Brian put all of these parts on this car? Is this one done today?
No, Brian doesn't touch these cars.
I try not to.
Usually when he gets them in the car, he calls me and just asks me what's wrong with it before he even touches it. But Brian is not about the silver
At least
bullet.
he shows you a screenshot of it.
I ask him, just tell me the most expensive part, and I'll quote that. The customer will say no, and we're done.
How much does this car cost new?
So I want to do a little bit more measuring because, again, I think it's got a bad timing chain. Well, I think it's got a stretched timing chain, but I can't tell this guy to take the timing chain off and after all these parts are replaced for no reason. All right, so let's do a little bit of measuring. And that's what makes Pico awesome. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we got a zoomed in view, and basically we're going to measure this relationship right here. All right, between this pulse on the crank reluctor and this pulse here on the cam reluctor.
Compared to the other.
Yeah, they're supposed to be dead on or close enough, right? I'm calling that dead on. This is a engine with some miles on it, so it's supposed to be dead on. That's good enough for me. All right. So let's go measure the one that's suspect. So we use our rotational rulers for Pico, right? And we set up 720 degrees of rotation. I lost there we are. We set up our 720 degrees of rotation right here, right? So we know this is one full revolution of the engine. Make sense, guys? Am I going too fast?
That's of the cam, right?
Camshaft, yeah, but one full revolution of the engine because one full spin of the cam is two full revolutions of the crank.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. So that's 720 degrees. All right, because our code setting criteria is set on crank angle, so we got to do 720.
Yep.
All right, and we can see this is our known good. Jesus. We can see this is our known bad. Right here. And from where it should be to where it is, our delta is 6 degrees off.
So 6 isn't 11.
Exactly. What is our code setting criteria?
11.
11.01.
Yeah.
You're about halfway there.
So will this turn a check engine light on?
No.
Nope.
Not
Is
for,
this
not
is
for
this
that code.
Is this enough to mess with fuel pressure?
I don't know.
Well, the answer is hell yes,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
The computer has to know. The computer is assuming that engine is dead nuts on time to regulate this fuel pump. And if it's not dead nuts on time, it's regulating at the wrong time. And this version of the pump, it's holding too much fuel pressure in. Does that make sense? Now, just for shits and giggles, I want to know what 11 degrees is. All right? So this ruler mark is where our camshaft sensor should be. This is where our camshaft sensor is. And just a little bit more, that's where we set the light. Right? So that's how close we are. But this This is the difference between not sending light and still being a problem. It's actually pretty cool. Now I have enough to say, pull this timing chain off. It's not slipped, but it's stretched. So we know we need to change. So he took the time.
You're the man.
Oh, this is why you're the man, Brandon. He took the chain. He took it apart and he took pictures and sent them to me. That is his old timing chain tensioner. Now the rule of thumb, I forget it all the time. It's either 5 or 7 of these little stripes that are viewable, but this has all of the viewable here. This is clearly bad. Makes sense? So he put a new chain in it, new tensioner, new guides, new everything, and that's what it looks like when it's done.
Oh wow.
Do we see the difference? Bad, good, bad, good. Unfortunately, I wanted to get an after capture. I don't need it because I know it's fixed, but this car's been gone for 3 weeks now and it's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, when you're doing things like this, sometimes it's really hard to get an after. But I know it's fixed, and the car usually set lights within one test drive, and this car's been gone for weeks.
So inside the pump, can you explain what is happening to cause the pressure to be too high?
Yeah. So what's going on is, let me stop sharing because we're actually done here. All right. So what's going on with the high pressure pump is when the lobe comes up on its lobe part, it pushes in the piston. All right. That obviously squeezes the fuel, makes pressure, makes sense. That's how pumps work. All right. The computer on this one activates that regulator valve to release some of that pressure to maintain your specified value. It's wanted value. All right. But it does that assuming the position of the timing chain. It knows the lobes, where the lobes on that pump are. It knows where the timing is. It knows when that exhaust camshaft is coming around. Does that make sense?
Chris, Chris, do you think you could do a theoretical based on just going back over to that zoomed in pattern and try to identify it there? Like in other words, to show advanced to retarded, and when we're actually closing that solenoid.
I probably could if I wasn't so shot, but yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We were throwing this together, and Brian and I were actually trying to nerd over this, and we got ourselves so confused over it.
Put it up.
Let's go take a look here. Hold on. Let's see here.
Yeah, you didn't know we have a Steckler here.
Yeah, we got a Steckler. So let's see if I can go back.
I'm just curious. I don't know if I'll even be able to.
All right. So this is okay. So let's go back to here. So again, this is the bad capture, right? Whoa. Let's try that again. Back over here, and we're gonna select pen. So again,
I can see.
This is the bad capture. All right. This is where it should be, and this is the threshold of setting a light.
So it's to the right, so it's retarded. So because this pump needs electrical control in order to
Release
vent fuel pressure, it's doing so earlier. So by the time the lobe actually comes, it's no longer venting that fuel pressure, so you're trapping more fuel.
This should be the opposite, because you had trapping less fuel. Oh no, it's higher. Sorry.
No, it's
higher.
higher.
Yeah.
Yep. Never mind.
There you go.
See, you guys are much smarter than me. I just know this doesn't look right.
Oh, you had it.
Yeah. So, again, so what this is about is you really have to break systems down to exactly how they work, their nuts and their bolts, to really know how they work, to know how to diagnose them. In this case, timing being slightly off and not off enough to actually cause a light can cause a fuel pressure problem, because that's how tight these tolerances are. You could have put 50 pumps in this car and it wouldn't have fixed it. You could have changed coils, plugs. You could have put sensors in this thing. You could have put an engine in this. Well, the engine would have fixed it. But like, you have to know how the system works to know how to diagnose it. And in this case, probably the easiest thing, if you know, would be pull the little plug off the timing, off the little window for the tensioner, and you can see that was way off. Or you can hook a scope up to it and not get dirty. I opt to not really get dirty. I just hook up the 2 sensors and hook up to a known good.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah.
Rich wants scan data.
No, I just, Jason said, what about, I don't remember the measuring block, but, and I'm not a Volkswagen guy, so I don't remember the measuring blocks, but if you had a desired and an actual and they were 6 degrees off.
What if it's an inferred value that you didn't know?
I still want to argue that the fuel pressure regulator could be normally closed or normally open.
Well, if it was normally open and you unplugged it,
it would default to low pressure.
What was the duty cycle at the time?
No, it's unplugged.
Duty cycle doesn't matter. It's unplugged.
The duty cycle didn't matter. So when you unplug it, all right, the pump the fuel pressure regulator goes to its relaxed state. All right, this car uses 2 different types of pumps: a normally open, normally closed. A normally open pump would just bleed fuel pressure out, and I have a capture of that. Do I have a capture of that? Give me 3 seconds. You got talk amongst yourselves. I'll show it to you.
There you go. That's 3.
1, 2,
3.
Yeah, give me a second.
4.
That's another.
Brandon's pissed. He's going to get on his motorcycle and leave.
It's 11.
Well, hold on. I'm scrolling through a freaking Zoom, not a Zoom thing. PDF.
Who's in chat? I'm not monitoring chat. You guys, who's in there?
You got some people on your side. D-Tech Engineering says, I've had VWs with timing physically off and measuring blocks did not show. So I'm just wondering. I mean,
Yeah, well, just thinking about what you would see in scan data, right? You would still have to have a known good because you're not outside of the range of what it would take in order to set the code, right? So any service data that you look at is only going to give you a little bit of room, and you're going to look at that in kilowatts and say, well, maybe it's this, or maybe, is that good? Is it not good? Unless you have an absolute known good on scan data, I would say I wouldn't be able to trust it.
Hold on a second. Here.
You said kilowatts.
All right. So this is from my 2-liter class that I did.
I was hoping you were going to bring up. That's why I pushed it.
This is a
2-liter.
Yeah. Sorry. This is a normally. Oh Jesus.
Whoa.
This is a normally open type pump. All right. The orange or the yellow here, that's the fuel pressure regulator control. We don't care about the red and the green. We don't care about that. I was scoping a bunch of things, but this is the fuel pressure sensor. All right. Everything's cool. We're maintaining voltage. This is when I unplugged it and fuel pressure dropped, which is exactly opposite of the way this pump worked.
Did it drop?
I was pushing you to get this or the other waveform from that class with the fuel pressure regulator
stuff. Did pressure drop all the way to the low side, or was it still kind of pumping?
No, this one. So on this particular engine, this is how you can verify fuel pressure without putting a gauge on it within reason, because this is just line pressure, what the low pressure pump is doing.
Okay, so it did.
Over here.
I can't believe it took almost 2 seconds to drop like that. I thought it would be faster.
Think about how much volume can
go
through that.
I mean, one little drops a boatload of pressure. Mm-hmm. Just a thought. I'm surprised.
So this is a normally open system. So this is like a test I like to do to find out what kind of pump I have. So I unplug the fuel pressure regulator. If the pressure goes up, it's a normally.
If it sounds like a diesel. Or not?
No. If it'll scream. It'll actually whine.
Yeah.
Because it's bypassing. Exactly. This one, it'll run like crap. You can't really move it because you're running on 80 psi. Yeah. So that's the difference there.
Dude, that's great stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, it kind of sucked. With literally threw it together in like an hour.
Just on a boatload of
no scan data, but that's okay.
Rich, you weren't paying attention. There was scan data.
I'm just kidding.
Whew, I'm spent.
You got an hour drive ahead of you.
I feel like
he's not sleeping on the couch.
I think somebody else had another one. Brandon, who had another one?
I don't have another one.
Was it Rich? Tommy?
Hans had one, but he's not here yet.
I do have one for you guys coming up in the near future. This thing is kicking this guy's butt, and everything he sends me, it's like I'm not seeing the problem. But I can't wait till we get to the bottom of it, so we have something to discuss. It's gonna be a good one.
It's not that Pennsylvania fella still, is it?
No. Man, I can't even think who it is now. I got like 10 people on the back burner here. You know how that goes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, I'll think of it. Give me 3 seconds, right?
1,
1, 2, give me one more.
3, 4.
Why is it that that's all you need every time you're trying to accomplish something?
John Huffnagel, my buddy John Huffnagel. I don't know where he's at. I can't remember.
Pittsburgh.
Is he Pittsburgh?
Yeah, right around the
Dude, this
corner.
car
Well, he's off now. He's about an hour away. About an hour away from Pittsburgh, I think.
He had a VVT fault, right? An actuator fault. It was. I told him go in there and rock the camshaft with a wrench and see what happens, and it was disassociated from the inside piece. So he put he didn't put it. Another technician put a used one on from a low mileage engine. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes we're not in control of that, but it's popping through. He can't tell if it's popping through the intake or it's popping through the exhaust, and we're having issues sharing waveforms and stuff, and we'll get it figured out. But I'll have that available for you guys next time, probably.
You said he's from Pittsburgh. Is he another new Browns fan?
Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Hi, PJ.
Every time I think of Pittsburgh, I think of Primanti Brothers. You ever have one of those sandwiches?
Yeah, they're awful.
Loaded with French fries and the grease from the floor and some hair.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim said I kept him awake. I guess it's a good sign. I talk really fast.
Maybe listen, Jim Morton. Maybe you can answer this because I haven't been down here in a while. Is the market still open, Center City? We got to get Tommy down there for the Knicks sandwich.
Oh, most definitely, sir.
I want one.
I heard they're closing. I don't know if they're closing. I hope not. Let's see. Let's hope Jim Morton can get back to us on that.
He's got to type, so hang on.
He would know. He's like, I heard everything you guys are saying over there. Keep it up. We're gonna have a problem. Go all Philly on you. Go Olney.
I'm spent.
I think he's from Olney.
Where did Mike go?
He's sleeping. He fell underneath his fish tank.
Is his dog Mike Robinson getting yelled at right now? Oh, there he is.
He woke up.
What are you doing, dude? Mike.
Mike, do that again.
Mike,
It was whack-a-mole.
Mike, get back in your chair and finish your carrots.
Oh, that was whack. Isn't it like a Groundhog's Day too?
You're going to bed
We
early
got
with
6
no
more
dessert.
weeks of winter now because Mike saw his shadow.
Punxsutawney Mike.
Oh man, I almost got water up my nose.
That's awesome.
Oh, that was funny.
He just.
Oh, man. Mike, can you do that again, please?
He made
That was great.
I love
That
you
squeaky
so
noise
much,
too.
Mike.
Oh shit.
Oh my God, that made my night.
Oh man, for real.
Jim
Anybody
Morton
ever
said
play
yes.
that's at like a county fair or something with that stupid whack-a-mole game?
Yeah.
Oh man, that game's annoying as shit.
Whack a Mike. Never mind.
Yeah.
Brandon, you're actually on top of Mike in the chat, so next time he pops up, just kind of whack him. Mike, pop up. Mike, pop up again. Do it again.
Do it like 4 times real fast.
Pop up again, Mike.
He's gonna do it.
I can't believe people are watching this.
Mike, pop up again.
That's good
He's
stuff.
He's getting. There he goes.
The face he made.
We really have time for all this tomfoolery.
Hey, we got hands here.
Who?
Our special guest. He's here.
Dude. Hell hands. It's like he's in a different.
Looks like you're
It's
from.
like
the
he's
Orient.
from the past, or
You look like from your 1978 Kung Fu movie.
where's he at?
Easy, David Carey.
Oh shit.
Easy, grasshopper.
Oh,
Hello. How much money is it?
I think he's.
What's
Not-
up, Hans?
I don't know if he's got a mic.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh, no audio.
It really is a kung fu movie.
Wait, somebody's got to overdub. No, he wants to fight.
Guys,
Welcome.
sorry.
How dare you make fun of my hair?
Welcome to my dojo.
I'll defend my-
Tiger claw is no match for my my tiger technique.
There you go.
Oh, it's super
now.
quiet.
Super
Super,
quiet.
super
Pull the
quiet.
sock out of your mouth.
The what?
Sock.
Oh.
I heard cock. Fucking Mike.
What's new, Hans?
We heard that.
Yeah.
Yep, it's working. You're coming in loud and clear.
Chris, did you change shirts? Are you in your night shirt?
My Train by Tex hoodie is very, very warm and comfortable. I had to take it off.
You guys
Very,
set that up.
they're very warm and
You
comfortable.
didn't want to fall asleep in Brian's house because you never know what's going to happen.
Brian turns the temperature
Hey,
up
Brian,
so you take as
when are
many
they-
layers off as possible.
Are they available for sale yet? Can I buy one?
Brian's trying to get you naked.
They are on our website, but
All
yeah.
right. I want to buy some. I want to buy a couple.
Okay.
Hey, is that better?
Oh, yeah.
There you
There
go.
you are.
There we go.
Hey.
Is that good?
No,
Oh, you-
perfect.
No,
Good gosh, Hans, it's so nice to see you, man.
You don't
Oh,
even
hi.
sound Asian.
Yeah.
I think that's racist.
No, he looks of Asian descent.
I think that's
We're gonna
racist.
Now
Like
we're going to
from
be
Iran?
canceled.
He does.
Or like Iraq or what?
If I said Tommy looks Hispanic, that's not racist. He looks Hispanic.
I think that's racist.
But when you say of Asian
Racist.
descent,
I'm in
you
no
mean
rush. You take my
like
time. No racist.
like Iraq or what?
Iraq.
Whatever.
That's racist.
I'm just pointing out the fact that is also on the continent of Asia. Just so we're clear.
Did I
Eurasia,
did I
bro.
tick you off?
Hans, you got something for us?
Sure. What do you guys want to talk about?
Something good. You always got something good.
Well, you said you had
I had
something
some.
cool, so
Yeah, let's see it.
Whip
See
it
some
out.
cool stuff.
You guys
Work
like-
Work it.
Please don't mind while I eat some of Cleveland's
Okay.
finest pizza.
Hey, let's see it. Show us
Fake
first.
effect pizza.
Here, you got to talk when you show us.
I am special.
This pizza has some sausage and some other shit on it, and
Well, there's a
it's-
lot of stuff on there.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
That's like a 17-layer pizza.
And it's got like this pie crust thing going on over
It
here.
looks like crap.
It's got some olives and it's edible, so that's kind of good. All right, sorry, Hans. Do you got a case study?
Hey, can we call you Hansy? No, I guess not.
Hands
That's
off.
That wouldn't
racist.
be good. That wouldn't be good.
Can
What you
hear
got, Hans?
me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have fancy headphones or
No, you're good.
anything else.
But you're on the continent now, right? Didn't you spend some time in Europe recently?
Me? Yes. Yes.
His
Germany.
family mainly did.
Hans, do you speak the language?
A little bit, not much.
He knows all the right words. Or all the
Oh,
wrong
swear
words.
words for sure.
Okay, sorry, I had to turn up my volume.
Okay.
That's okay. You're not that much on the spot. I mean, just
A lot of it.
I thought you had a thing. That you wanted to show a thing.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
Um,
They said you had something you were going to show everybody, and it was going to be the best thing we ever saw.
It's not the
Oh,
best
geez.
you ever seen.
If you're
I
willing.
have,
Be
you
the
know,
judge of that, Hans. Don't tell us. Don't tell us what we've seen.
my in my quest to scope all the things. Wait,
I'm a fan of that quest, by the way.
I have
I-
your sticker right next to me.
well, hold on. I need to close that window.
this is what happens when your hands are choking.
Oh, this is so much better. Wait, what happened?
His knees are weak, palms are sweaty.
Okay. in my quest to scope all the things, I've started scoping HID headlights,
Oh,
Really?
and it's really interesting. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
What?
Trying to make it smaller. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
We do this because there's no scan data, just to be clear. So go ahead.
yeah, and you don't
Wanna
normally
bet?
see many people scoping headlights, so I think it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
How else do you diagnose an HID? I mean,
You changed it.
you put a new part on, right? Yep, that didn't work.
You swap them left to right. I don't know.
No, you know, I experimented with something like that years ago, but it never ran with it. I'm curious to see what you got, Hans.
Go for it, Hansi.
I've seen what you experiment with, Brandon.
I'm trying to share my screen. You guys see that?
Got it.
Yeah,
Yep.
we
You want to see that? You want to see that?
There.
Mm.
Okay. Of course, Volkswagen 2008 HIDs. I have my left current is in blue, and my right current is in red.
Okay.
I have a right headlight out on this. And so Volkswagen, it's super easy. It's pin 6 in either headlight. One's yellow with black and one's yellow with red. And that goes the same for a lot of the cars and Volkswagen, Audi, and HIDs or halogen headlights. Hey.
We've
Sorry.
been hacked.
Go ahead.
So what I do is I just put an amp clamp around there, and I'm able to see the.
Did the igniter working?
It's technical there. Yes, igniter or ballast. I have a couple of each. But what we see in this example, in my good, I have my power on, and what happens is it pretty much knocks on the door to let the current in, and then my blue one works, and so that pulls current through, and my bad bulb keeps lighting. You see that? So it keeps on trying to knock on the door and ask, hey, start.
Trying to start the fire.
Yeah. So you guys know what's inside a HID bulb?
Tell us.
Yeah. Well, they use bi-xenon gas or xenon gas and mercury vapor and a couple other things. And what they have is a tungsten
Magic.
2 tungsten rods sitting inside this glass bulb filled with these chemicals. And pretty much what they do is they use a ballast to jump up the current or jump up the voltage. Sorry, it's voltage. Mm-hmm. And they will run 1,000 volts up to 24,000 volts, I think. And what it does is create a little lightning arc across that gap. And so that's what we see when the xenon is actually lit up and working.
So what you're saying here, Hans, is this is a great way to burn up a scope, as Adrian says.
Like
You know
a
what?
U-scope.
No,
I have not.
he's using current
I have
Yeah,
not.
that's
time, and
I'm wondering if that's the ignition hitting more than once until it realizes it's fired off.
It's already
Could be
fired.
the igniter. Yep.
Yeah.
I totally
That, and you
agree.
notice the current moves down a little. I think when you go to check the voltage side, you'll find that's when it steps down to about 100 and something volts.
Mm-hmm.
400 on Volkswagen.
Okay, 400
Wow.
on that particular
Yeah.
system. Gotcha.
So I had a car that kicked my ass the other day, a Tiguan, and it gave me all the indications that a bulb was bad. And what that one actually was the ballast. And so what I was doing was checking the voltage out of the ballast to the bulbs, and this one was putting out 900 or 800 volts through one wire, and then negative 400 volts through the other wire. And there's 3 wires going to the bulb.
So is this a bad bulb but a good ballast, is what you're saying?
On this particular car, this is a bad bulb.
And a good ballast because the ballast is checking.
Yep.
So where were you connected? Were you connected outside it on an accessible wire, or did you just have to
This is the power feed to the headlight, to the ballast, essentially.
from the headlamp control module?
Yes. Well, this one I think is comfort module.
Or the J519?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're at the control the power outlet module basically. So I'm just trying to think of can this be used practically to diagnose a car? And honestly, if you can get to the wires, it's cheaper because a lot of the how else do you diagnose them? You swap the lights left to right, or you buy a new bulb and ballast and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Or now you can definitely tell. Well, your ballast is good, but your bulb sucks.
Yeah.
It would be nice to do this a couple times to verify, though.
Hans,
Yeah.
one more time, Hans. Can you tell me what the blue trace is and what the red trace is? I got lost. I'm sorry.
Blue trace is current.
Oh, you got it on the bottom there. Never mind.
Left and right.
Yeah,
He always has everything labeled. Come on.
remember. And it even said, "Oh, yep."
And there's
even good or
notes.
bad.
You're right.
This is the power wire, easiest to get to, right? We want the easiest stuff. So low hanging fruit, right, Brandon?
Yeah.
This is the power wire going into the headlight assembly. It's really easy to see on Volkswagen. It's right there. Sometimes don't even have to peel it back. You just grab onto it with an amp clamp, back probe it with voltage, and you're right there. You're in business. So that's what I do. Flip the switch on and off, and that's it. On this same capture, so when we zoom out, I have 4 traces and then 4 more traces. The second set of traces, I unplugged the light bulb. You can see my time base down here. I'm at 1:20.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a long time base.
You're going on and off and on and off. Is that right?
On and off, on and off.
Okay.
And then I went and removed the light bulb,
Mm-hmm.
got the result there. And so what you can see there is,
That's your circuit check.
yep, it
And then
looks like it starts and it tries, it runs the exact same current through both of those lamps,
So-
but red trace didn't respond with anything.
Because
we treat this like an ignition coil, pretty much, a little bit.
Yeah. You're looking
Maybe.
at the spark.
Your amperage through the coil is the red.
Yeah.
And we didn't throw a spark, right?
Yeah, and we see my red trace jumps up a little bit. So I'd like to assume that my ballast is trying to do some work,
It's not.
but I
open.
don't think I'm ready to make that assumption yet. I
Right.
still
What is
need
it?
to-
Almost 5 amps, 6 amps, maybe.
No, actually, it's not that much at all.
Okay, I'm looking at your scale there, 2 and 6.
And I know that says negative. I think my red 2060 clamps, that's 1 amp.
Oh, I was looking at the spike. I'm sorry.
Oh, the spike?
Yeah.
Spike's 4.5
Cool.
amps.
Okay. Excuse me.
so the J519 is detecting open circuit and it's kind of limiting it.
I think so.
thinking?
Yeah, on this one, I think that's what's going on. So that's known bad bulb and known unplugged bulb. That's what this module was giving me.
Nice.
Now we come.
The beauty of
Yeah.
testing known good and saving.
Let's do this. Actually, let's do the other one. Okay, this car, I had a fault for short to ground in the central electric module, body control module. This commands the headlights on. And it would turn, so no light on my left, I think. Passenger side headlight. When the passenger side headlight was unplugged, so I unplug it at the body or at the headlight module, I could load test it with an H7 and I'm getting plenty of voltage, 12 volts. It loads it, no problem. Doesn't care. The current is maxed out on the bad ballast, and the voltage actually drops to 0. When we zoom into this one, it's really noisy. I'm going to show my good view first. Okay. This is known good, right? Nope. I need red. I need black. No, I need red. Voltage and current. Sorry. This is what I actually typically see with headlights starting. And I notice a lot of noise in brand new bulbs, and I notice a lot of noise in worn bulbs, like that give a pink color. Have you guys ever seen that?
So as the color is setting, it's making noise.
Yeah. And so this one actually looks really good. I'd say this is a really healthy light bulb. And as you notice, this one's different than the other style. And this is known good. So we ignite, jumps up, and it fires up, and then we have our steady voltage, and then it goes into a frequency mode where I believe it actually pulses the current through there. When we look closer at it, it definitely has some sort of signature to it, right?
What's it pulsing? The power of the ground.
I don't know. I need to check the ground too.
Let's zoom on that voltage. Let's go zoom in on channel A.
Do what? What'd you just say?
Right there. And it's only given us 9 volts, 10 volts.
Yeah, but but that's all being done through the igniter though. So you don't know what the igniter's doing.
I don't know what the igniter's doing.
Yeah, so that's your power supply to the igniter, right? So
this is power supply to the ballast. So we go central electric module to the ballast to the igniter and light bulb.
Yeah, so you can't tell what's going on inside the igniter because you can't get in there.
That's on the high voltage side.
I can't get in there. Yeah. Some of them I might be able to, but time-wise, I don't have a lot of time to get in there. And so when we add in our bad, this is what was going on with my voltage and my current. As you can see, I was getting pegged 20 amps.
Giggity.
It was
Thank you.
It was short to ground, right? I'd call that a short to ground. 20 amps.
Not short.
And my voltage only made it up to 5.5 volts, and then it was actually dropping down to negative 2.5 volts cycling. But I kind of want to concentrate on the current. I talked about this in my piece here a couple days ago, and what we decided was the control module is duty cycling that short to ground because it can. It knows that it drew 20 amps on that, and it's only supposed to draw 8 amps. And so what we did was we went over here to when it started to cool off. So this is high duty cycle, and down here it's only pulsing it for a certain amount of time on. You know, if I split that in half, 2 milliseconds, that's about half. We're probably what, 7% recycle?
But also look, the amperage is going straight up.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
She done shorted.
Yeah, it's shorted.
Yeah.
And so, you know, 80 or if that's 70 or 30% duty cycle, 30% of 20 amps, you know, is 7 amps.
You know what this is, Hans? This is a bad J519 in about a month. That's what that is.
If they would have left it, yeah.
Well, no, that driver was pushing all this stuff. It's bad now.
They either went somewhere else or they haven't come back yet.
Mm-hmm.
This was a bad shorter to ground ballast.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was completely pulling that module down, and the module was saying, quit it, and started to duty cycle it at a current that those wires were designed to handle. And so it's duty cycling at about 8 amps or so. So that was pretty neat. When I put in the new bulb, but yeah, that's duty cycling pretty much 20 amps straight to zero.
So we're running about 10 seconds and it still didn't shut the light off yet.
Yeah, the light was off.
Okay.
I think I physically turned it off here. I think it continued to run that driver in that central electric module.
Yeah, that's not a good. That should have some kind of current limiting. or some kind of current protection.
It's duty cycling it.
Kind of protect it by duty cycling, but Chris's thing is by the time it flags a fault, you would think it would not even try anymore.
You would think so.
I agree. I don't have a lot of time to do that, but
maybe because it's a headlight, it continues to try.
That's possible.
You need a headlight.
Yeah, safety related item.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the way down here, it's trying, but it's, how long is this? 8 milliseconds.
Yeah, it's banging that driver for 8 milliseconds, and this is how things burn up.
It only hits that for under 1 microsecond, for 1 millisecond. So that was pretty interesting to me.
That is cool, man. You have to capture. You have to get back on salary so you can do more of this stuff for us.
I know. I like doing
too much
this
money.
a lot more.
You know what's great though? I mean, it looks like you're taking the time to do this stuff, and yeah, it's an investment in time, and sometimes it's a pain in the neck. But the point is, you're not going to find these waveforms. It's guys like you that pioneer this stuff, and once it makes its way to Facebook and all those other groups where we share this stuff, it becomes, we'll call it common knowledge. But I mean, it takes somebody to do it.
That's just devaluing the industry.
Yeah.
We're
there, John.
Shots fired.
Is that how you pronounce it?
I have no idea how. I don't know how she pronounces her name.
I think it's
smack.
Boy, that guy was
Snap.
nasty, wasn't he?
Yeah, a little bit.
Lord. I was just talking to him. He was getting nasty on him.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hans is like, moving on.
Hans is the opposite of drama, that guy.
So, what are you doing in your evenings now, Hans?
These are this is after I replaced the ballast and the bulb on that car, and my voltages come up the same, and my current on that wire is the same. So what I think is really interesting is the voltage jumps up and current jumps up. My voltage stays the same, and my current drops back down.
Is your voltage the green and blue, right? Yeah. And the red and black?
Green and blue. Yep.
Isn't it interesting that the voltage is gradual and the current is immediate?
Yes. I was watching John Thornton's class, and he was talking about current, and what he was specifically talking about was the dual fuel, and I think the injectors. No, the fuel limiting valve. And in his example, the current gradually dissipated because it's inductive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it gradually increased because it's inductive. Yeah. So I don't know how this is pulling.
All right, what are our traces again here? So red is what?
Red and brown are current, right?
Red and black are current.
Red and black, sorry.
Okay.
And that is nearly as instant as it gets, I guess, if we zoom way in.
Right.
It's not.
But you're just checking a power feed into a ballast assembly.
But that's 20 microseconds that current goes to 16 amps.
Yeah, basically immediate.
Yeah. Immediate. And so we have that voltage being applied, and we finally come over. Oh, sorry, let me go back over. And finally, our current spikes on my new ballast. Remember, because we're breaking in parts. And I don't know what this noise is on my passenger side bulb that was good.
It's probably the light coming on, the actual, bzz,
It could be. And then we go into our frequency over here on the right.
The fact that it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or the fact that it's illuminated.
Yeah, so you can also see how long did it take for that.
Just kidding.
Like
for the bulb to warm up.
Looks like ignition coil oscillations.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like noise.
Yeah.
And so our red trace was the good bulb. That one's really good, and it looked really clean in the previous capture. And we see that the brand new ballast and bulb, it looks like it actually lights faster than the old bulb.
Yeah.
But you can also see because they're still new, so the color hasn't set, right? Because you haven't let them break in. So that's probably why it looks different. It's got to be why.
Yeah.
What's
Hans,
the total
Hans, you know-
amperage?
What's
That
that?
initial. What's that initial total amperage there? How does
Right
it
here,
compare?
that spikes up to like 10 amps, and the old one spikes up to
Was it at 20?
14.
Oh.
And you know what this means,
Oh,
right?
the old bulb. I see.
You know how you like to make tools. You need to make an optical sensor and put it on the front of the headlight and turn it on, so you know exactly when it sees light.
Yeah. I have all the time in the world for that.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not doing anything at night anymore, right? What are you doing at night now?
I am teaching a night electrical class at the local community college.
So plenty of time. Nothing but time.
I'm trying to get them not to this part yet, but to understand the relationship of current and voltage and circuits and how
I think they just need to learn video production while they shoot you doing train by text videos.
Go all scanner danner on us.
Yeah. Don't tempt me.
Guys, it's almost 11.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 here.
Well, I got an hour drive back to my hotel room.
I thought you were at your hotel room.
There's plenty of room in my bed.
There's plenty of room in Brian's bed.
Or the couch.
And so, we can kind of see the difference over here of those spikes in the brand new bulb working and breaking in. If we move our red trace down, that's my current of the old bulb, and the black trace is the current of the new bulb. So
It's interesting that they're so different.
Wow.
Yeah, there's got to be something useful.
Are they the same brand?
Probably not.
One's a Dorman.
No, because you change them in pairs because the different brands are different colors even when they're that could be that too.
I change them what they give me to change with.
So it's
But I
it's the
agree.
wrong brand.
If I get a car with 2 pink light bulbs coming in, I'll recommend both pink light bulbs. Both bulbs be replaced.
No, pink is where it's at, man. Those are pimp.
It is the new black. Yes.
The new black.
I'll look and see what else I have for this stuff, but these are my few good examples. But that GTI I really like, just because it's so apparent. You can really see the difference between the bulbs, and you can see the work trying to be done. It's trying to ignite that bulb. It's almost like it's trying to light the spark plug. But
It kind of reminds me of like an immobilizer when you have like the wrong key, the exciter, fires more times trying.
Don't get us started on that either, right, Tommy?
Let's not.
You guys don't want to talk about immobilizer videos?
No, we do not.
Just making sure. You don't, because don't want to be called into a room for being unprofessional, Rich?
Hey guys, really appreciate y'all being on. And
It's snowing outside.
coming on.
Is it snowing outside?
Yes, it is.
Son of a bitch.
It's like you're staying for dinner, Chris. What's Nikki picking, Brian?
Do you have is that Mini Cooper all-wheel drive?
I don't know, maybe.
We'll find out.
I got to be in Akron at 8 a.m.
As soon as you jump in, that circus music starts.
Is that a fat joke, you
Yeah, but
bastard?
the car doesn't start.
Hey, Bryn, I did really like your video with the noise isolator.
Thank you, man. I just
Great.
me and Carlos had that knock sensor sitting on my roll cart forever. Never did anything with it. Carlos is less lazy than me, I guess. He finally did something, and he actually, now that I think about it, he actually started to try, and he was syncing it to an ignition, which I guess you could do, but he just was thinking about, assuming the noise would happen at top dead center. So he was assuming wherever the noise would occur, wherever that laid with ignition event, that was going to be the cylinder, the culprit or whatever. So we worked together a little bit on it, and I was telling him, we go in cylinder, we can see when the valve events occur, and I think we can use that to it. And it just worked out in our case. Obviously, I've only done it the once, so we need to do it more to see how consistent that's going to be as a
You know the funny thing about that one?
Just what?
Let me mute you, Chris. I was in the chat or comments of your video. A lot of people were mentioning on how common that problem is, and I was saying that I've never seen it come in my bay yet. I've heard of it, I've seen it, I just haven't seen it come in yet. And then this week, currently right now in my bay is one with the same situation that I actually put a Jasper Reman engine in about 24,000 ago, and I have a camshaft that has damage to it and a rocker arm that has caused the damage to the
The way it
camshaft.
works.
Yeah.
So is Jasper going to have you change just the rocker or what?
Yes, they're wanting me to change just the rocker and to see what happens. The lobe is damaged on the outer edge of the lobe, and I'm going to put a rocker on it and see what happens.
So that lobe is damaged and is missing metal, and all that metal is miraculously in the oil filter, right?
Yeah, it's
It's
not
miraculous.
It's not stuck to the magnetic reluctors or anything. Not at all.
Well, I bet there's in the chat. There's probably a million people that have dealt with this several times.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Oz just made it to the chat. Oz, you missed it. Time to go home. Sorry, buddy.
We're just about to get off.
Bryn, another thing you can do with that knock sensor is put it on wheel bearings. Give that a shot.
There you
Because
go.
I've done that a couple times, and you've seen my.
Did you develop
packets.
a wireless test lead too yet, Hans?
That
would be
supposedly. Supposedly,
Wait,
you
what?
can put a mini jack on those and put them on your Steelman wireless chassis ear, and put them all around the car, and use the piezo's to go into that.
Huh.
That might work. Except I don't know how to get the signal back out of the Steelman into the Pico.
Yeah, that's gonna.
A wireless scope would be amazing. Just saying.
But
they
I've
have
done
one?
a couple
Yeah, the
measurements.
Autel is wireless.
Yeah,
I mean,
mine
as
not
far
wireless.
as
No. I'm talking about the actual.
you mean from the test lead to
Yes.
the scope? Yeah, that would
Oh,
be
yeah,
freaking
right.
amazing.
like wireless back probes and pierce
Bluetooth.
probes.
So that you just have to just worry about the delay. That's all.
So what I had once was a good wheel bearing and a bad wheel bearing in a car. And, I stuck the magnets on the wheel bearing housings, and I could see the difference between them. And Ben at Picoscope is able to export the waveform in a .csv, a comma separated value, and you can actually import those comma separated values into Audible and convert your waveform to a audible noise.
Hey, what the heck's he talking about?
It's pretty awesome.
It's really cool.
You can convert your waveform back into a sound,
Making your waveform.
and it works. It's
And
pretty
guys, it does work, and that'd be a great thing to talk about next time.
cool.
Chris, you gotta go.
I really gotta go.
Doing the pee. It looks like you're doing a pee dance too.
No, I peed before. I'm just thinking I got 45 minutes in.
While
snow
you're
and-
doing your
and
case
really
study,
quick.
that's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
he was in McDonald's, and McDonald's has a timer from the first bite.
So I'll work on that. Actually, I have all the captures and the sound files that he sent me, but I just need to put them together in a good format.
So
Right now, they're
If you use
They're
that,
on
if you
Facebook.
use that knock sensor to hear the wheel bearing, can your waveform then make the sound of your bad wheel bearing?
yes,
You know how you do
and
it?
it sounded exactly like it.
That's awesome.
Grab a microphone input. Start tapping into a microphone input, and then like sing "Old MacDonald Had a Farm," something like that.
Doesn't the NHV or NVH have a microphone attachment?
Yeah, the
Some of them.
kit has a mic. Yeah.
Well, mine doesn't.
Do you? Oh, you have a NVH kit, but
I
without the
have
mic.
the 3-axis NVH.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I know that some of them do have a mic.
I'm
Yeah,
micless.
mine is the GM GM issue.
Oh, did you steal
Thief.
No, I bought it off eBay.
it
So someone else
And then I
stole it.
called.
from someone
Yeah,
else?
exactly.
Hey, they registered it to my Pico, so
Okay, you're
this
good.
wasn't reported stolen.
All right, gentlemen, I think we're done here.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Chris is
Overstand.
cranky. We got to get going.
Yeah.
Okay, good to see you guys.
Brandon, it's
All right,
past your bedtime.
Hands.
I'm sorry, I was like hen poop on a pump handle here. I just sat here and
What? What? Hen poop on a pump handle? Is that even a thing?
Hand poop.
Can we unpack that?
No, we need to leave it
And you
packed.
call me the old one here.
We need all
That
of
sounds
it
like a
to be left
1920s term.
I think that's a Texas thing. I'm going to Texas in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know only things that come out of Texas, right?
Go ahead.
You are just dying to get us in trouble.
I didn't say anything. All right. So is it good night now?
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Because
Everybody,
we can start talking about case studies online now if you want, or we can go.
Let's sign off first.
Okay.
everyone have a happy Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, hey,
It was like 2 days ago, wasn't it?
It was 2 days ago.
It's the whole
Okay.
week. It's the whole week.
It's Groundhog Day every day.
Groundhog week.
Yeah. The little guy needs the whole week. All right.